Hi, good morning, Dr. Bob Flower, and your Monday, August 26th, Master Pattern Report. Well, we had a hit on Friday. We called for gold and silver to make a good move, and we had said it would be somewhere around 23.50, 23.75 in that arena coming up. And voila, we had almost a 5% increase on Friday, and it's continued today. I understand that it may have hit $24 today, so that's pretty much around our mark. We don't see this as the move yet. We might see a little bit of retracement off of this, but all indications are we're getting close, folks. So if you did buy some silver back at that $18, $19 level, I think you're in pretty good shape, and will continue to be so. We are really getting bullish on the commodities and the metals in particular. Keep tuned, because we think we've found an indicator that it gives us a little better insight as to market direction. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and move in that direction. Okay, so let's look at some dates. Next commodity move, gold and silver, is September 4th, and another one September 5th. And then something September 7th. So we're looking at next week. We're also looking at the market making a significant move around the 4th also. It should be maybe the 4th or the 5th, but we're calling for the 4th. So keep your money safe and ready for these investments, do your spreads or what have you, as we're doing, and doing pretty damn good. Any of you have any questions about this, about our calls and about silver, give us a call. Our website is www.drbobflower.com, and that's Dr. DR. Okay, and then from there, if you need to have a discussion, we can do so by email. Insofar as the economy, the only thing I want to say about that right now is that we're going through a radical change, at least in the United States, and conceivably overseas. But right now we are turning into a part-time economy. By that I mean that everybody is working part-time for a number of reasons. Number one, the jobs are not out there. The good paying jobs are not out there. The healthcare costs are becoming staggering, so employers are revamping their whole structure so that they have fewer full-time, where they have an obligation, and more part-time. So, and I predict that you're going to see this in the municipal administration soon. We are trying to convince a number of municipalities to convert from full-time employees to part-timers to lessen the burden on the public for the costs of governance. Okay, and that certainly will bring it down. Also, I want to talk a little bit about, told you last week about Europe. Our gal, Janet, just came back with her family, and she was telling us how Italy, France, and Spain are being overrun by a lot of the immigration from the Arab nations, in particular at this particular time, from Syria and Egypt, Egypt being the bigger one. And how people are so unhappy there about this migration, because it's more burden on the government and the costs, and that the health care, the benefits, the government benefits are becoming increasingly weaker and less compliant with the public's needs. So, you know, this old adage about, you know, a free lunch, it's starting to happen even more so. There seems to be great unrest, and I get this from viewers from those countries, including Greece and France and Spain and Italy, and of course England, and Ireland and Portugal, and what the viewers from that part of the world are saying is that, you know, things are pretty good, but you know what, they don't seem to be getting better. They seem to be getting worse, and there's more and more concerns, such as you know, my trip to Austria and Germany last year had indicated that these are there is now this dichotomy, this battle going on about poorer healthcare services and higher costs to the citizenry. So, and the most amazing thing is that's starting to deteriorate. We're trying to push it. We're trying to go in that direction. And it seems like to me that there's something wrong with that decision making, if you want to call it decision making. I don't call it decision making at all. And the only thing I want to say relative to the economy and governance is shame on you, shame on the public for not caring, for not having input, not putting people's feet to the fire, not having courage, living in fear that you're going to get the government reprisals or what have you. I mean, this is beginning to sound like seeds of a revolution here, okay? And talking about that, had an interesting lecture and discussion over the weekend, and one of the issues that came up was about the Second Amendment and how you know, ridiculous some people's position is relative to the Second Amendment. You know, what the hell we need guns for? Well, what people don't understand is that when the Constitution was written, the Second Amendment was not to allow people to go hunting. It was a way of enabling people to deal with tyranny, and that if need be, they would take their flintlocks, you know, off of the fireplace, get together, march down to Washington or to their state capitals, and throw the bastards out. Okay? Now, I'm not advocating that, but I am saying that I'll guarantee you that that's one of the foremost reasons why politicians are backing some sort of restriction on the Second Amendment, because and I would say this, that if the Second Amendment were abridged and it was totally modified, where it became ineffective or dissolved, you would see absolute tyranny. That you would absolutely see. I mean, it's going on now. Can you imagine if they had this fear of militia? Okay, so that's all I want to say about the Second Amendment. I do believe in personal potential leads the world, and I talk about that in our achievement science program. But you have to remember, when you give up your right to fight, your right to have input, your right to complain, you can't complain. It's over for you. And for those of us who want to continue the good fight, you know, if it comes to that, why then the ultimate fight is flight. Find another place in the world to move to. And by the way, there are a lot of wealthy and successful people that are doing that, finding other places in the world to move to so they don't have to tolerate the taxation and the nonsense and the obligations and stress that are being put on them by governments that are out of control. Okay? Watch the silver, watch the gold. Okay? Remember, September 4th, September 5th, next week. Have a good one.